Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mindset Matters, the courage to continue. This podcast is meant to bring hope and inspiration to your day. You and I have been born into a unique time in history. The command to guard our heart and mind has never been more vital to our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Let's guide each other on this journey. If you have a hero heart story from your corner of the world that you would like to share on this podcast, please send it to the email address mindsetmatterspodcast1@gmail.com. If you know of someone who would benefit from uplifting content, please share this podcast. Please visit our website, mindsetmatters.buzzsprout.com. Now please join me for an uplifting hero heart story. Prepare to be riveted by the harrowing and inspiring life of Louis Samparini, a true American hero. From Olympic athlete to World War II bomber crewman to castaway adrift in the Pacific, Zamperini's resilience and unyielding spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity are a testament to the triumph of the human spirit. Join us on a gripping journey through the life and incredible survival saga of Louis Samparini, whose story will leave you in awe and remind you that even in the darkest of times, the will to survive and thrive prevails. Welcome to Mindset Matters, the courage to continue, the podcast where we explore the extraordinary lives of ordinary individuals who have overcome immense challenges and emerged as beacons of inspiration. I'm your host, Lisa Sinclair, and today we embark on a remarkable journey into the life of one such individual. This is episode 8, The Courage to be Unbreakable, the hero heart of Louis Samparini. Settle in for a gripping tale of courage, resilience, and unwavering faith. Born on a frosty morning of January 26, 1917, in the quaint town of Olen, New York, Louis Samparini emerged into a world that would come to witness his extraordinary journey. His parents, Anthony Zamperini and Louise Dossi, hailed from picturesque Verona in northern Italy, infusing him with a rich heritage. In the Zamperini household, the air was filled with the teachings of devout Catholicism, nurturing young Louis in the embrace of faith. Yet, even within the confines of tradition, he was not immune to the allure of rebellion. At a tender age, he ventured into the world of smoking and drinking and carousing, a testament to his spirited nature. His early years were marked by struggles against bullies, and he danced with danger more than once. A treacherous house fire and a harrowing encounter with an oil rig nearly claimed his life, but fate had other plans for him. In a twist of destiny, his older brother, Pete, emerged as a beacon of support and encouragement. It was Pete who saw the spark in Louis and ignited his running career, setting him on a path that would lead to incredible feats and indomitable spirit. When Louis was a mere 2 years old, his family embarked on a life-changing journey, leaving the chill of Olen, New York behind and setting their course for the sun-kissed shores of Long Beach, California. This cross-country odyssey marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. By 1919, the Zamperini clan had found their way to the neighboring town of Torrance, where young Louis would carve out his place in history. His days were spent navigating the halls of Torrance High School, but there was a unique challenge that set him apart from his peers, the language barrier. With no knowledge of English upon their arrival, Louis and his family stood out, and their Italian roots made him a prime target for bullies. In the face of adversity, Louis's father became his guardian and mentor, teaching him the art of boxing as a means of self-defense. However, what began as a necessity soon transformed into something more. Louis discovered an uncanny talent for pugilism and found himself relishing the idea of settling scores. He became so skilled that the taste of victory became addictive, setting the stage for the remarkable journey that lay ahead. In a bid to channel the boundless energy of their spirited young rebel, his older brother Pete hatched a brilliant plan. Knowing that the fiery Louis was heading down a precarious path, Pete decided to enlist him in the school track team, where he himself was already a shining star. The turning point arrived during Louis's 9th grade year, when a fateful challenge was issued by his classmates, a foot race to settle scores. Louis, brimming with determination but lacking finesse, found himself trailing behind, a humbling experience that stung deep. Seeing his brother's potential, Pete took Louis under his wing, embarking on a series of rigorous training runs. With each stride, Louis discovered his hidden talent and an innate ability to conquer the track. Racing became his passion, and he rapidly transformed into a formidable force. As if guided by destiny, he stumbled upon his role model, the legendary Glenn Cunningham, an inspiration that led him to embrace the world of distance running. By the end of his freshman year, Louis had undergone a remarkable metamorphosis. He clinched a 5th-place finish in the All-City C Division 660 yards or 600-meter dash, a clear testament to his newfound prowess and the promising journey that lay ahead. Louis states, quote, "It was the recognition. Nobody in school, except a few of my buddies, knew my name before I started running. Then, as I started winning races, other kids called me by name. Pete told me I had to quit drinking and smoking if I wanted to do well, and that I had to run, run, run. I decided that summer to go all out. Overnight, I became fanatical. I wouldn't even have a milkshake." End quote. The summer of 1932 marked the beginning of an incredible journey for Louis Samparini, one that would see him conquer the track with unwavering determination. It all kicked off with his maiden cross-country race, a race that set the stage for an astonishing high school career that spanned 3 unforgettable years. As the seasons unfolded, Zamperini's track record remained untarnished. He was the undefeated champion. In a remarkable twist, he began eclipsing even his older brother's achievements, a testament to his sheer dedication and talent. In 1934, he etched his name in the annals of interscholastic glory by setting a jaw-dropping record for the mile. The clock stopped at an astonishing 4 minutes and 21.2 seconds during the preliminary meeting leading up to the California State Championships. The very next week, at the CIF California State Meet Championships, he solidified his status as a track legend with a triumphant run clocked at 4 minutes and 27.8 seconds. Zamperini's record-breaking prowess didn't just earn him accolades, it secured him a scholarship to the prestigious University of Southern California. During his vibrant college life at USC, he became a proud member of the Delta Eta chapter of the Kappa Sigma fraternity, forming bonds that would shape his journey in remarkable ways. In an unexpected twist of fate, Louis found himself facing a different challenge on the scorching track of Randall's Island, New York, during the infamous 1936 North American heat wave. Instead of competing in the 1,500 meters, he had his sights set on the demanding 5,000 meters. It was a day when the sun blazed mercilessly and the searing heat bore down on the runners. The race unfolded amidst the oppressive heat, and the conditions took a devastating toll. Co-favorite Norm Bright and several other competitors succumbed to the sweltering weather, collapsing under its unforgiving grip. In a sobering reminder of the brutality of that week's heat wave, reports emerged that 40 lives were claimed by the scorching temperatures in Manhattan alone. Amidst the adversity, Zamperini pushed his limits, summoning every ounce of his determination and endurance. In a heart-pounding sprint to the finish line, he found himself in a dead-heat tie with none other than the American record holder Don Lash. This remarkable feat secured his ticket to the 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin, Germany, a testament to his extraordinary talent and unwavering spirit. At the tender age of 19 years and 178 days, he etched his name in history as the youngest American to qualify for the grueling 5,000-meter event. As Louis Samparini and Don Lash set their sights on the grand stage of the 1936 Olympics, few believed they stood a chance against the formidable world record holder, Louis Samparini, in the intense 5,000-meter race. The odds were stacked against them, but what awaited them in Berlin would become the stuff of legends. Reflecting on his Olympic journey, Zamperini shared fascinating anecdotes, offering a glimpse into the life of a Depression-era kid thrust onto a world stage. He recounted a delightful indulgence during the boat trip to Europe, a luxury he had never experienced before. Quote, "I was a Depression-era kid who had never even been to a drugstore for a sandwich in his life," unquote. He reminisced with a smile. Quote, "And all the food was free. I had not just one sweet roll, but about 7 every morning, with bacon and eggs. My eyes were like saucers." End quote. By the end of their voyage, Zamperini, like many athletes aboard the ship, had undergone a remarkable transformation. A journey that began with indulgence ended with a few extra pounds, a hefty 12 pounds to be exact. While the weight gain wasn't exactly ideal for his running aspirations, it was a necessity for his health. The grueling summer training in New York's scorching heat had taken a toll, causing him to shed 15 pounds. In the grand tapestry of Zamperini's Olympic journey, every twist and turn added to the captivating saga that would unfold in Berlin. At the grand stage of the 1936 Olympics, Louis embarked on the grueling 5,000-meter distance event. Despite his valiant effort, he clinched the 8th position with a time of 14 minutes and 46.8 seconds. Ahead of him, Finland's Gunnar Hökmark claimed Olympic glory with a remarkable time of 14 minutes and 22.2 seconds. Louis Samparini, the world record holder, secured the second spot, while Zamperini's teammate Don Lash finished in the 13th position. It was in the final lap that Zamperini's spirit truly shone. With a blistering pace, he blazed through the last stretch in just 56 seconds, a remarkable feat that caught the attention of none other than Adolf Hitler himself. The dictator summoned Zamperini to his stand, and as the story goes, extended his hand with a nod of admiration. Quote, "Ah, you're the boy with the fast finish," unquote, were Hitler's words, an unexpected and unforgettable moment in Zamperini's Olympic journey. Little did Louis know that the winds of change were about to blow. In the wake of the Pearl Harbor attack, Louis Samperini's sense of duty called him to enlist in the United States Army Air Force in September 1941. It wasn't long before his unwavering commitment earned him a well-deserved commission as a second lieutenant. His journey in the military led him to the idyllic Pacific island of Funafuti, where he would take on a crucial role as a bombardier. Assigned to the consolidated B-24 Liberator bomber known as Superman, Zamperini was about to embark on a chapter in his life filled with courage, resilience, and extraordinary challenges. In the intense crucible of April 1943, Superman soared into the heart of danger. Louis Zamperini, taking on the role of bombardier, found himself at the forefront of a harrowing bombing mission. Their target was the Japanese-held island of Nauru, a place of strategic importance in the Pacific theater of World War II. As the mission unfolded, success hung in the balance, but it was the return flight that would forever etch Zamperini's heroism into history. Superman, having delivered its payload, came under relentless attack by 3 Japanese Zeros. In the ensuing aerial skirmish, the bomber sustained severe damage, and the toll was grim. 5 members of the crew were wounded, and tragically, one of them lost their life. Amidst the chaos and adversity, Zamperini emerged as a beacon of hope. The May 4 New York Times hailed his valor, crediting him with administering vital first aid to the wounded crew members, a heroic act that saved the lives of 2 of his fellow airmen. It was a flight marked by sheer courage and resilience, with the aircraft bearing the scars of battle. Ground crewmen counted an astonishing 594 bullet and shell fragment holes in the battered fuselage and tail structure of the mighty four-engine bomber. With Superman no longer fit to take to the skies, the resilient crew members who had weathered the storm found themselves on a new journey. Transferred to Hawaii for reassignment, Louis Samparini and a handful of his fellow former Superman crewmates were tasked with a mission that would test their mettle once again. Their new charge was another B-24, one with a notorious reputation among pilots, the Green Hornet. This aircraft was known far and wide as a troublesome lemon, a challenge for even the most skilled airmen. It's worth noting that there were several B-24s with the name Green Hornet, but in this particular instance, the name was confirmed from Zamperini's own diary. On the fateful day of May 27, 1943, their ill-fated mission took a tragic turn. High above the vast expanse of the ocean, mechanical woes struck, and the Green Hornet met its demise, hurtling into the depths of the sea. The unforgiving crash claimed the lives of 8 out of the 11 brave souls on board, leaving devastation in its wake. Amidst the wreckage and chaos, 3 resilient survivors emerged from the wreckage: Louis Samparini, the unwavering pilot Russell Allen Phillips, and Francis McNamara. Left with scant provisions and no lifeline to civilization, they were left to fend for themselves in the heart of the boundless ocean. Their survival became a testament to human tenacity. These men, armed with little more than their determination, managed to fashion 2 small rafts from the remnants of the crash. They caught albatrosses for sustenance, and incredibly even turned the birds into bait for fishing. All the while they battled relentless shark assaults and clung to life through a tempestuous storm that nearly capsized their fragile refuge. Their resilience was tested further when a Japanese bomber, prowling the skies, strafed their life raft. They attacked repeatedly with machine gun fire while flying low over their makeshift vessel. Remarkably, no harm befell them, though their life raft bore the scars of the encounter. As days turned into weeks, hope remained elusive. Tragically, after 33 grueling days adrift at sea, the relentless toll of their ordeal claimed the life of Francis McNamara. In a solemn act of farewell, Zamperini and Phillips tenderly wrapped his lifeless form and offered it to the unforgiving depths. The ocean, their constant adversary, had extracted its price. Their harrowing odyssey continued for an astonishing 47 days, adrift in the vast expanse of the ocean, where hunger and thirst became their relentless companions. Just when hope seemed all but lost, a glimmer of salvation emerged on the horizon: the Marshall Islands. However, their newfound haven would prove to be a deceptive refuge. Almost as soon as they set foot on land, Louis and Russell Allen Phillips found themselves ensnared in the clutches of the Japanese Navy. Their freedom abruptly snatched away, they entered a nightmarish chapter of captivity and suffering that would persist until the war's end in August of 1945. Initially incarcerated on Kwajalein Atoll, they endured brutal beatings and inhumane treatment. After 42 grueling days, they were transferred to the Japanese prisoner of war camp at Ofuna, a place reserved for captives who were not officially recognized as prisoners of war. This marked the beginning of an arduous journey through the depths of human endurance. Louis's path within the confines of his captor's cruelty took him from Ofuna to Tokyo's Umori POW camp and eventually to the Noatsu POW camp in northern Japan, where he would remain until the war's conclusion. It was a relentless ordeal, one marked by the torment inflicted by a prison guard known as Matsuhiro, the Bird, a man who would later be branded one of General Douglas MacArthur's most wanted war criminals in Japan. Amidst the anguish of despair of captivity, Zamperini's indomitable spirit found solace in unlikely places. He shared his love for Italian cuisine, authoring recipes that provided a momentary respite for his fellow prisoners, a way to momentarily escape the grim reality of their surroundings. Among his fellow inmates was none other than then-Major Greg "Pappy" Boyington, who later chronicled Zamperini's culinary efforts in his book Baba Black Sheep. These simple recipes became a beacon of hope, a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and find solace even in the darkest of times. Time went by. The world had all but given up hope. Louis Samparini, who had once been lost at sea, was declared missing, and then, a year and a day after vanishing into the abyss, he was officially marked as killed in action. His story seemed to have reached its tragic conclusion. The U.S. government, in a cruel twist of misinformation, mistakenly classified him as killed in action. The somber news reached even the highest office in the land, as President Franklin D. Roosevelt penned a formal condolence note to Zamperini's grieving parents in 1944. However, a remarkable turn of events occurred at the close of World War II in late 1945. Zamperini's release came about due in the changing tide of the war. As the Allies advanced in the Pacific and Japanese forces began to lose territory, the treatment of POWs by their captors became somewhat less brutal. On August 20th, 1945, Japan announced its surrender to the Allies. After Japan's surrender, Allied forces entered the prison camps to liberate the POWs. Zamperini and the other prisoners were eventually freed by the American military. They were given medical treatment, food, and care to help them recover from their ordeal. After being released from captivity, Zamperini returned to the United States. His remarkable story of survival and resilience during his time as a POW made him a national hero. He went on to live a productive and inspiring life, sharing his experiences and eventually becoming an inspirational speaker and author. In the years that followed, Zamperini found solace and love in the arms of Cynthia Applewhite. In 1946, they embarked on a journey together, a union that would endure until Cynthia's passing in 2001. Their love bore fruit in the form of 2 children, Sissy and Luke, a testament to the enduring power of hope and love in the face of unimaginable trials. However, in the aftermath of the war, Louis's battle was far from over. Haunted by nightmares that envisioned him strangling his former captors, he sought refuge in the numbing embrace of alcohol, attempting to drown the memories of his harrowing days as a POW. It was during this dark period that a ray of hope pierced his despair. Cynthia, his wife, attended one of the transformative evangelistic crusades led by the renowned Billy Graham in Los Angeles. There she found solace and renewal in her newfound Christian faith, a faith that would ultimately lead Louis down a path of redemption. In 1949, at Cynthia's urging and under the influence of her Christian friends, Louis reluctantly agreed to attend one of Graham's crusades. As he listened to Graham's impassioned preaching, it stirred memories of the desperate prayers he had uttered during his time adrift on a life raft and in the clutches of his captors. It was in that moment that Zamperini made a life-altering decision. He committed his life to Jesus Christ. This newfound faith became the cornerstone of his transformation. Louis embarked on a remarkable journey of forgiveness, an odyssey that saw him reach out to the very individuals who had subjected him to unspeakable torment. His recurring theme became one of forgiveness, a message that resonated deeply with those who had once been his captors. In a powerful testament to the enduring power of forgiveness, Zamperini even ventured to the Sugamo prison in Tokyo in October 1950, where many war criminals were incarcerated. There he extended his hand of forgiveness to those who had wronged him. Astonishingly, some of them found their own path to redemption, choosing to embrace Christianity in response to his remarkable act of forgiveness. As he approached his 81st birthday, Louis Zamperini embarked on a symbolic journey that would bring him back to the very land that had once held him captive. It was January of 1998, and he found himself running a leg in the Olympic torch relay for the Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan, a place not far from the POW camp that had been his prison. During his time at Nagano, Zamperini harbored a profound desire to confront his chief tormentor during those harrowing war years, Matsuhiro Watanabe, infamously known as the Bird. Despite his earnest attempts, Watanabe refused to meet with him, a final act of defiance from the man who had evaded prosecution as a war criminal. Undeterred, Zamperini penned a heartfelt letter to Watanabe, a letter that carried the weight of forgiveness. In it, he acknowledged the immense suffering he had endured at the hands of his captor, but chose to extend the olive branch of forgiveness. The fate of that letter remains a mystery, as Zamperini never received a response. Watanabe's chapter in history came to a close in 2003 with his passing. In March 2005, Zamperini embarked on another poignant journey, returning to the Berlin Olympic Stadium for the first time since he had competed there during the 1936 Olympics. It was a symbolic revisit to a place that had witnessed both his triumphs and tribulations. Even in his 90s, Zamperini's spirit remained unyielding. He continued to grace USC football games with his presence, forming a special bond with star quarterback Matt Barkley in 2009. And then, on a memorable night in 2012, Louis Samparini took center stage on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. There he shared not only the incredible story of his life, but also his experiences at the 1936 Olympics and his heroic exploits during World War II. It was on July 2nd, 2014, that Zamperini's spirit finally found peace. At the age of 97, he succumbed to pneumonia, his remarkable journey through life coming to a close, leaving behind a legacy that would inspire generations to come. Louis Samperini's incredible life story found its way into the pages of not one, but two memoirs, both intriguingly titled, quote, "Devil at My Heels," end quote. These memoirs, though sharing the same title, were co-authored with different writers and delved into distinct aspects of his extraordinary experiences. Renowned author Laura Hillenbrand took up the pen to craft a gripping biography of Zamperini titled, quote, "Unbroken, a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption," end quote. Published by Random House, this literary masterpiece soared to the heights of literary acclaim, securing the coveted #1 spot on the New York Times bestseller list. In a testament to its exceptional storytelling, Time magazine hailed it as the top nonfiction book of 2010. The remarkable tale of Zamperini's resilience and redemption made its way to the silver screen not once, but twice. The first cinematic adaptation, Unbroken, was penned by the Coen brothers. Jack O'Connell portrayed Zamperini, bringing to life the gripping narrative that led up to his return from the war. Subsequently, a sequel titled Unbroken, Path to Redemption emerged, chronicling Zamperini's arduous journey to recovery following his harrowing experiences as a POW. Directed by Harold Cronk, this compelling film hit theaters in September of 2018, with Samuel Hunt stepping into the role of Zamperini. In addition to these cinematic portrayals, the Billy Graham organization produced a 30-minute documentary film in 2015 titled Captured by Grace. This captivating film focused on Zamperini's unwavering faith, a source of strength that he credited for his indomitable spirit and resilience throughout his turbulent life. Thank you for listening to today's episode about Louis Zamperini. We were only able to just scratch the surface of what he endured as a Japanese POW. I highly recommend, if you wish to learn more, the memoir, Devil at My Heels, a heroic Olympian's astonishing story of survival as a Japanese POW in World War II, written by Louis and co-author David Renson. And then I can't recommend enough Laura Hillenbrand's Unbroken, a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. Just a great book. I've read it several times. For kids, there is a book called Surviving a World War II Prison Camp, Louis Zamperini, They Survived books, geared for 8 to 12-year-olds. Now it's time to get your beverage of choice, and I will as well, and meet me at Coffee Corner. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Corner. I want to welcome, we have some new listeners from Germany. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to add more listeners to our family. This part of the podcast, this Coffee Corner thing, is reserved for you guys, for you listeners, to become a part of this podcast. So if you have something you would like to contribute, a hero heart story, a prayer request, just telling us about who you are and how things are going in your corner of the world, we would love to hear from you. So please share, send your stuff to Mindset Matters podcast, the numeral 1, at gmail.com. Okay. I'm drinking my usual today. So I decided to look up some fun facts about coffee, and some are interesting and one is gross. Okay. So here's the first one, which I didn't think it was true. It says coffee is actually a fruit, and I don't get it because it's a bean, but technically, it says it has, it's a plant thing and it has to be pollinated. I don't know. They're saying it's fruit. Check it out. The next fact here they have is bees love coffee. They're the main pollinators of the coffee plant. And the way the coffee plants reproduce is by the bees. And it says, it's funny, it says, caffeine makes bees more alert. Caffeinated bees are more efficient at gathering pollen and transporting it. So I guess they get a little caffeine boost like we do. Let's see. Another fun fact is coffee helps you live longer. It says studies show that people who drink coffee are less likely to develop depression or Alzheimer's. So 2 good reasons to have a little more coffee. It says the chemicals caffeic acid and chlorogenic acid reduce inflammation and exhibit antioxidant capacity. So I guess that's good news about coffee. It says you can drink coffee in space. Astronauts drink out of bags to get their coffee. And the last fun fact they hear that I think is gross is that somebody figured out how to have coffee with the aid of cat poop. It says this coffee is made from beans that have been digested by an animal called the Asian palm civet. It's then marketed as a kind of super elite coffee. So if you're elite, you get your beans from cat poop. Okay, and this is why I'm not elite. Okay, what did you think of the episode today? I felt like the theme was reminiscent. It kind of took me back to the Corrie ten Boom in episode 1, where someone went through extreme treatment from another human being and somehow found it within them to truly forgive. So this story really tied back for me to that episode 1 story. Just amazing, Louis's life. And he lived to be 97 after all he went through. It's just absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed reading Unbroken. I can't recommend that book high enough. I didn't really get into it in the episode, but, Louis was an at-risk kid. He really was. I mean, he was kind of on a pretty bad path there. And it's really so inspiring how, once he got into sports and set his mind on it, that like turned his life around. And I've seen that be true for a lot of teens, kind of giving them some direction and, learning how to be in a team and learning how to be disciplined and reach goals. But it was just very inspiring to once again go through his story. I had already known it from reading Unbroken, but going through it and learning more about his early life and realizing how at risk he was, it meant more to me looking back. And it's so unbelievable that after surviving a plane crash and then spending 47 days on the ocean, like I can't even imagine that. Sharks around, scrounging for food and water. Going through all that and then thinking that you finally see land and you're so happy. And then it turns out it's your enemy's POW camp. It's just unimaginable. So the whole story is really quite, you have to read it to believe it. It's just amazing. How is everyone doing these days? I hope you're holding on to hope, focusing your mind on things that are positive and things that will encourage you in your day. And I hope that you're encouraging others too as we walk each other along on this journey. We're going to turn our attention to an entry from Jerry. Shout out Jerry for sending in this letter about a hero heart story about a buddy of his. So Jerry writes, thank you for the interesting stories. I listen in on my way to work. I want to share about a buddy of mine. Tom has spent most of his life working as a high school math teacher. He's known for his patience, dedication, and genuine care he has for students. Many of them struggle with math, but he always finds a way to make the subject accessible and even fun. He stays late after school to offer tutoring and never turns away a student in need. But this isn't about his teaching. Tom told me he heard a news report on the radio about a homeless shelter in Greenwood facing a severe shortage of supplies. Winter was coming and the shelter was struggling to provide warm clothing, blankets, and food for those in need. Without a second thought, he springs into action. After school, he went right to the local store and purchased as many blankets, coats, gloves, and canned goods as he could afford. That's just him, generous to a fault. He just about emptied his savings account, I'm sure, and bought even more supplies. He knew he couldn't do it alone, so he posted a message on social media asking for donations from friends, family, and his fellow teachers. Within days, the response was overwhelming. People from all over town started dropping off bags of clothing, boxes of canned goods, and even money at Tom's doorstep. His small living room quickly turned into a makeshift donation center, overflowing with warmth and generosity. My contribution was socks. I heard everybody needs socks. Just the act of Tom bringing it to everyone's attention brought the community closer together, and we all joined for a cause. Tom's a guy who never seeks recognition or fame or even any sort of attention, but to me, he's a true hero. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. This is such an awesome story. I love when people see a need and jump right in and get others on board. Your friend Tom sounds like a great guy. And I'm sure somebody somewhere is wearing the socks that you gave. I did read that somewhere too, that one of the biggest needs that shelters are looking for is socks, and I'm sure underwear too. So actually, speaking of, this reminds me that I am going to get together some blankets I have to bring into our local shelter. So before I leave you, our quote of the day comes from Louis Samparini. He says, "Yet a part of you still believes you can fight and survive, no matter what your mind knows. It's not so strange. Where there's still life, there's still hope. What happens is up to God." Thank you for taking your time today to listen to today's episode on Mindset Matters, the Courage to Continue. Our upcoming episodes are Roselle the Guide Dog, and then Samantha Smith. I hope to see you then. Thank you for giving your time to listen to this episode of Mindset Matters, the Courage to Continue. You are of value. You are loved. You are not alone. If you are struggling with thoughts of suicide, help is available. Dial 988 24 hours a day for free confidential support. If you are not in crisis but need support, please feel free to reach out to me at the email mindsetmatterspodcast mindset1@gmail.com. Again, that's all lowercase, Mindset Matters Podcast, 1@gmail.com. Remember to change your day by what you think and say. We'll see you next time.